Saints defeat the Seattle Seahawks 13-10 on the road to improve to 4-2 on the season. The Saints get the win. They do not cover the 4-point spread, but they do improve to 4-2, Musso, which, as we said, is a whole lot better than 3-3. Sets up a big game this Sunday at home against the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the story of this game was very simple. On defense, you were really good. 10 points allowed for the Seahawks, 7 of which came on that big play at the very beginning, DK Metcalf on the 84-yard touchdown. But the Saints defense hits Geno Smith 8 times. They sack him 5 times. And on third down, Seattle on the game just 3 for 12. Really good on defense. Now, offensively, you were really pedestrian, bordering on bad. On third down on offense, the Saints themselves go 2 for 13. And as a team, New Orleans had 19 receptions. Just 4 of them were made by wide receivers, 4 more by tight ends, 11 by running backs, including 10 catches for Alvin Kamara. You had dropped passes, you had bad route running, and sans Alvin Kamara, it was a really sloppy performance offensively. So not pretty, but you are 4-2, and your defense looks like it can keep you in any game against any opponent because they're that good.
Demario Davis is an alpha.
Yeah.
I've really almost run out of words to describe how good at football he is.
He's a beast.
He's just an alpha. He's elite on the field, but even more so in the locker room and in a leadership role. The way they raved about him on the Monday night broadcast last night, I mean, look, Louis Riddick and Brian Griese love them some Demario Davis, and I don't blame them. I think anyone in Louisiana does. But just how he approaches game week. They kept referring to, the New Orleans Saints just being able to shut down the run. How Demario Davis just basically said, you ain't running the ball against us. You can put that in the bank now. That's non-factor. You're just already one-dimensional as soon as you step on the field with the New Orleans Saints. Kind of hard to argue with him about that, by the way, too. But it's just that, the way he carries himself, he's not going to be beat, and he's not going to allow his team to be beat. And he's got the back of every single one of his teammates on the field. He's just an alpha. And you can't watch last night's game and not just be amazed at his defensive performance. Now, I'll tell you someone else who stood out. And we talked about the importance of getting this person back over and over again. And that was Marcus Davenport. And number 92 was all over the field. I don't think he ended up with a sack, I don't think he ended up with a sack, but he had a lot of pressures. Did have a couple TFLs, but he was in the backfield harassing Geno Smith and impacting plays all night long. It was phenomenal to have him back on defense as well. I mean, we've talked so much. The Saints have been winning with running the football and defense. Well, there wasn't much really running the football last night, but the defense showed up in every aspect, and they were dominant. Outside of the one play to DK Metcalf, the 84-yarder, it was nothing for the Seahawks.
Yeah, defensively, the Saints were awesome last night. And yes, you're going up against Geno Smith. You'll see better quarterbacks, but you have to be pleased.
The field goal they got was on a short field after the Adam Troutman fumble.
Exactly. There you go. And Demario Davis, like you said, what he does tangibly, 10 tackles, 2 sacks, including that critical one on third down on the Seahawks' last drive. Also had that game-sealing pass breakup in coverage against DK Metcalf, but it's the intangibles as well. There's an article written in The Athletic about him sticking up for Marshawn Lattimore and some of the back and forth that he had with DK Metcalf. I forgot which player on the Seahawks offensive line apparently was blocking Demario Davis after the whistle, and he said, "Yo, I'm going to get you during the whistle the next play," and that was when Demario Davis got the offensive lineman's butt into the face of the running back and knocked him down with his own player. Just dominated him on that play, and he's a leader, man. Alvin Kamara on offense and Demario Davis on defense are the heart and soul of this team, and maybe they still miss Drew Brees' leadership a little bit, but those two guys are filling in really nicely. And defensively, like I said, the pass rush hadn't been there the last couple games, but it was there with Marcus Davenport in this contest. And like you said, did not record a sack, but I was saying his name a lot on the Spanish broadcast. He had a lot of pressure, some critical pressures. He almost forced an interception by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who dropped a pick. Almost had one after Davenport was bringing the heat against Geno Smith, and his impact was really felt. Multiple pressures. I counted at least 4 or 5 from Marcus Davenport, and Cam Jordan as well finally gets on the board, gets his first sack. So you got to love what you're seeing defensively. Offensively, me and you both talked. We're pretty pleased with what Jameis Winston is doing throughout the whole season, his whole body of work, although he definitely left some throws out there. But The level of play from the wide receivers, man. Having Traquan Smith was supposed to be a shot in the arm, was supposed to help you with at least having a body back at that position, but it almost looked like the Saints were worse with Traquan Smith on the field than they were without him in the game.
I mean, they weren't on the same page at all. I mean, but he hadn't really practiced this season either. So I mean, he's just been completely out. That's going to take time. I mean, everything about Traquan Smith last night was just a product of miscommunication. I mean, there's no really other way around it. Breaking the route off in the first quarter, the pass interference call, the spat on the sideline with Jameis. I mean, all of that comes down to communication. Hopefully that will come with time. But yeah, I mean, it definitely was not the return anybody was hoping for from Traquan Smith. But that's unfortunately kind of become the norm when it comes to Traquan's time in New Orleans. And again, unfortunately, but you did enough on offense. No, it wasn't pretty. You kept them in the game a lot. The fumble by Troutman came at a really bad time. But
he was finally playing okay.
Yeah, but your defense stepped up and had your back there, so it ended up not really hurting you. They got him out of the end zone. That was good. I thought overall you did a really good job on Metcalf and Lockett. Metcalf, had the big 84-yard touchdown, but I think he had 1-2 catches after that. So you did a really good job with him. Maybe some double coverage there with the safety over the top. It was a win. I mean, you don't apologize for winning in the NFL. It wasn't pretty. We kind of figured it wouldn't be though.
Yeah, like you said, Metcalf had that big 84-yarder against Lattimore, one of the first plays of the game, the first possession of the game for Seattle. But for the most part, Marshawn held his own. 2 catches for a Metcalf on 5 targets, 94 yards, and a touchdown. So for the most part, Lattimore won that battle against the King Orc Smurf, as Cam Jordan likes to call DK Metcalf. So all in all, Marshawn Lattimore continues to play some all-pro caliber football for New Orleans. And although Metcalf put up 94 yards in the touchdown, for the most part, Marshawn Lattimore really held his own. And thank God he didn't get ejected, because I thought for a while he might with some of those personal fouls. But
no, I was just going to say, yeah, the officiating last night left a little bit to be desired, too. The personal fouls just got out of hand.
Yeah, gotta control that. Hopefully Chauncey Gardner-Johnson isn't having a negative impact on some of these players. That's kind of a joke that we've been making on the Spanish broadcast, but he's playing really well. PJ Williams drawing a taunting penalty from the sideline while he was not even in the game. I thought that was very impressive. So even when they're not on the field, some of the Saints defenders continue to impact the game. But unfortunately, there is some negative injury news coming out of this game. The Saints offensive line was whole for the first time since week 1 with McCoy and Teron Armstead coming back, but Andres Pete has suffered a torn pectoral, according to a tweet from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. Apparently, they're still waiting on some results from some initial exams, but as of right now, it looks like it could be season-ending. So not a good development for the Saints offensive line. Andres Pete is a guy that draws a lot of flack from this fan base, but he's also somebody that's been on this team a long time and is a staple on the offensive line.
Yeah. That's a bummer. I mean, it's just when the Saints offensive line is whole, it's arguably the best in football. The problem is the Saints offensive line just can never seem to stay whole. Now, the good thing is Throckmorton will be back in there, and he's got plenty of experience this year. I saw earlier on Twitter or on ESPN, I can't remember exactly where, that he's recorded that he's played 282 snaps this year because of the McCoy and Ruiz issues on that side of the line. So you at least have an experienced backup to be put in there. Also, Wil Lutz is out for the season as well. Had a setback in his rehab of the groin injury. So Brian Johnson's season, man. Hey, got off to a really good start last night. 2 of 2 on field goals, including the game winner, and made the 1 of 1 of extra points. So far, better than Cody Parkey and worlds better than Aldrich Rosas. So we'll push forward. Brian Johnson's season. Let's go. Big bummer though with Pete. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
and especially coming into this week, going into this week against the Buccaneers. That's a defensive front that you would really have liked the Saints offensive line to be whole for.
Yeah, Lutz is a bummer as well. But like you said, good start for our guy, Brian Johnson. 2 for 2 last night in Seattle. Made kicks from 28 and 33 yards. He's an undrafted rookie out of Virginia Tech. So if you want to read up on Brian Johnson in your Google search, definitely include the Virginia Tech part, because if not, you're going to have to sit through a lot of Brian Johnsons before you get to the Saints starting kicker. New Orleans beat Seattle on the road 13-10. They improved to 4-2 on the season. Get ready to welcome the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into the Superdome this Sunday.